all my fight fans? You know, I've been wanting to ask you guys this. We know that the UFC has a BMF belt. You got Jorge Masvidal. They actually fought for it. We got Nate Diaz, Masvidal, MSG 2019. What if boxing had a BMF? Who would you guys consider the two most baddest motherfuckers in the boxing world, both past and present? I mean, the list goes on and on and on about some of the baddest guys in the world. You know, you have some really, really tough guys that have come from the slums of the world, that have come from the bottom all the way up, that have done some crazy ass shit. You know, you got Bernard Hopkins, you got Mike Tyson, you got Tyson Fury, you got so many other fighters out there that, you know, not just saying it's a bad thing that they, you know, came from money or they came from tough upbringing. Not that doesn't necessarily mean it, but just looking at their background, looking at the way they fought inside the ring, looking at who they fought in the ring, just all around, what makes them the baddest motherfucker. And my two choices, honestly, would be Mike Tyson, 100% down for sure. You cannot have a bad motherfucker belt without having Mike Tyson's name attached to it. The guy was just an animal. The guy was a beast in the ring. He took on anybody and everybody he could. The youngest heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, the guy ruled the 80s and the early 90s. You know, he had a lot of misfortunes outside of the ring that distracted him inside the ring. We know his crazy relationship with Don King. We know his crazy relationship that he had with other outside of the ring relationships he had, I should say. We know all that, well, all his personal life. His personal life is definitely no secret. I'm sure there's other stuff, but he is definitely very open about some of the mistakes that he made. But nonetheless, the guy was a real bad motherfucker. That guy straight up went, anytime he went into that ring, it was just straight up killing mode. I mean, I am so surprised to this day that some of the matches that he had even took place, were even allowed to take place. I mean, in most ways, his hands almost should have been registered as like, no, you are just beyond words, that powerful, that dangerous. Because that's what it seemed like to me watching him. And I still to this day watch him. I still to this day look at his videos. I still to this day look at his highlights, his knockout power, the way, the speed, the craziest that he was able to be. You know, he wasn't the tallest heavyweight. You know, I believe he was at 5'11", but just being able to be a heavyweight at that height. Most people who are at 5'11" usually are at light heavyweight or middleweight at the very least, super middleweight, I should say. But not heavyweight. But Mike Tyson, you see the muscles, the size of his neck, the size of his traps, and just the way he was able to move, the speed that he had, the velocity that he was able to use to throw that his power, his hooks were just completely just out of this world, out of this world. That is my number one. My number two, it's a big toss up. It's a big toss up. Honestly, it would have to be, I would like to say Tyson Fury. The man that, you know, we know the story behind this. Tyson Fury's father had actually said he named Tyson Fury after Mike Tyson. That's how of a legend Mike Tyson was to them. And with Tyson Fury coming from a family of bare knuckle fighting, they were a gypsy family, which are also known as travelers. Some gypsies do not like to be called that, but nonetheless, I actually find it very, pretty cool name, but nonetheless, no disrespect. But yeah, Tyson Fury is just another one. He's another one. We see him, how much of a killer he is in that ring. No, he didn't have as many knockouts or as much knockout power as Mike Tyson or some other notable heavyweights, but just the way his style was and just the way he presented himself outside of the ring. The way we know his background, his family, going back, like I said, to bare knuckle boxing at one point. These guys definitely were no we're not we're not one of these clowns or taking it non-serious and such. They definitely were a family of straight up fighting. Like these guys will fight anybody at any time, anywhere. And of course, it's a little misfortunate that Tyson Fury did retire at such a young age. And I personally do not believe he's retired. I personally do not believe that he's going to stay retired. I do feel he's going to come back. Maybe not this year, maybe next year or the year after that, perhaps. But I do believe he is going to come back. And just seeing how he was able to fight, seeing some of the struggles that he had when he got knocked down by Deontay Wilder and coming back, like literally coming back like he was the Undertaker from the dead, and just seeing that face of Deontay Wilder was just, oh my god, I can't believe it. And we know Deontay Wilder, his punching power is no joke, no joke. He is 100% all power. And when he put Tyson Fury down and then coming back and Tyson Fury beating him the way he did in the second fight and then having one hell of a third fight, he did get dropped again by Deontay Wilder and came back again and stopped him. Tyson Fury, again, is no joke. Now, as far as these two matching up, just so happens to be them both in heavyweight, you would give the edge more to Tyson Fury, due to his size, his length, but don't sleep on Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has fought tall guys before. He's had trouble with them. We remember that fight he had with Lennox Lewis, but that was a much older Tyson, and Tyson had gone through a lot of stuff, as I talked about earlier. But you're looking at prime Tyson, the guy that literally was able, you could not catch that guy's head. You cannot catch it. And like I said, his speed and his power definitely played a factor. And with Tyson Fury having all body, that long body, that was a lot. That would have been a lot for Tyson Fury. I mean, a lot for Mike Tyson to be able to hit. And the last thing you want to do is have Mike Tyson land a body shot on you. That's for damn sure. But I still would lean towards Tyson Fury because his footwork, his head movement, his speed with his hands. He wasn't, like I said, a most powerful puncher, but his punching volume was out there. Like, he can definitely jab your face off from a distance and you couldn't do nothing about it. But that's my picks for the baddest motherfuckers, the BMF in boxing. Leave me in the comments. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree. And if you do disagree, who are your picks? Who would you like to see as if they were to ever make the BMF belt in boxing? Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.